Everything just happened. How come there are super bullish news coming out, but we're still dumping? You guys want to know why? Because we're in the eye of the storm as we speak, guys. In today's video, we're going to be explaining why we're dumping and XRP's path to the promised land, to prosperity. We know the exact game plan and timeline. Please like today's video and let's go. From Mr. Punk.eth. Government shutdown equal dump. End of government shutdown equal dump, which the government just reopened or is. We're still dumping. Rate cuts equal dump. No more cuts equal dump. BlackRock buying equal dump. BlackRock selling equal dump. Everything comes out to the market's dumping, no matter if it's bullish or bearish. Why is that the case? Because we're within the storm, guys. You guys remember, right? Until the chart says we're out of it, we're not out of it until the chart says so. NASDAQ, the stock market, dumped as well today. A bunch, right? That's a lot for the stock market. So why are we dumping? Well, because market wanted CPI today. White House said, LOL, not gonna happen. So lack of data is causing issues. Why is it the case? I have no clue. Probably manipulation to head lower. Perfectly matches up with XRP ETFs launching, right? Which if they dumped it to like $2, let's say, they're gonna buy as much as XRP as they could before they ramp it back up, probably to like $3 and if not more. So this is fascinating, right? The manipulation that's going on. Verizon just announced a 15,000 layoff, 15% of their workforce. And then 3 different Fed presidents all came out over the past 48 hours and said they are more concerned about inflation. Yeah, inflation is not going to go down until the black swan arrives. I could guarantee you of that. Now, we called this first, by the way. I knew this was going to go down at some point in time. This is why Bitcoin is nuking. For the first time ever, MicroStrategy has gone below 1 NAV, meaning that Saylor's Bitcoin holdings are worthless than their total debt. Traders are front-running this death spiral of MicroStrategy and its eventual Bitcoin forced selling. We called it first, literally. You guys remember when we said Michael Saylor will get quote-unquote liquidated? Supposedly down here it says, where's the and what is Saylor's liquidation price? Well, $75,000 per Bitcoin. Here for fact check it says false. MicroStrategy holds actual Bitcoin, not leveraged positions. No liquidation triggers exist at 75k. Their 73k average cost means price below create unrealized losses, not for sales. Funded via bonds, notes, not margin. But you know what? It's the same exact thing. Well, as soon as Bitcoin price heads below 75k, the investors will get very shaky and very worried of why this is happening when they see red, okay, on their investments. They don't want to see red, especially when you see Bitcoin flying down. What happens? Well, something called forced selling, right? What happens when those lenders eventually want their cut? Exactly, right? So we already knew this was the game plan, guys. We literally called it first, right? That they're gonna go after Michael Saylor at some point in time. Michael Saylor, the death of MicroStrategy, okay, will mark the Bitcoin bottom. I just have this gut feeling, and sometimes I'm correct, guys. When MicroStrategy blows up quite soon, it's gonna mark the Bitcoin bottom. Okay, this isn't financial advice, but 200 million plus worth of longs liquidated, guys, right? So a lot of people are getting liquidated and all sorts of stuff. So here's the exact game plan. David Schwartz called it when we called it too, that I think this will happen now. You guys ready? So a lot of crazy news are coming out and about, guys. We're still within the storm until the USDT, that dominant chart on the 5-day says we're not. And for that to happen, we need to go below this 5-day moving average, which sits at 4.42%. I'm grateful that they added more another decimal there, guys, because of the fact that it's more precise now. But what's happening? Okay, this perfectly matches up with us dumping, by the way, right? With all this bearish news coming out. Why? Because the path that XRP will take now, due to all this crazy news that's coming out, will be this, in my opinion, which will perfectly matches up with the insiders buying as much as XRP possible before they pump it. So why did we dump it in the first place? Well, history usually repeats, if not rhymes, if not repeats. The ETFs launched right here. Okay, the ETFs launched right there for XRP. What happened? We dumped. But first of all, we pumped, correct? So we pumped, ETFs launched, then we dumped. That's for XRP today. For Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin's chart when the ETFs launched early 2024. The ETFs launched right there, I believe. What happened previously? Well, we pumped. Then after it launched, we dumped. Isn't that a little bit odd? How it literally matches up with XRP's price action as well. What about for Ethereum? So when did Ethereum's ETF launch? Well, July 24th. So we go back to Ethereum's chart on July 24th. Well, Ethereum didn't even do anything, right? It launched right there. It dumped as well. Okay. Maybe they front ran it here, right? And then it did that, guys. But still, the same thing, dumped. HBAR launched on October 27th, 28th. They pumped it, launched right there, I'm guessing. They dumped it. Same exact pattern repeating, huh? For Litecoin, October 28th is October 27th, same time as HBAR launched. They pumped it there. ETFs launched, I'm guessing right there. They dumped it. What about for Solana? The launch date was October 28th for the spot Solana ETF. October 28th of this year, which was just a couple weeks ago. Right here, guys. I don't know if they front ran the news there, right, or maybe there, but they still dumped it after they got launched. So the pattern has been the same. XRP was not an outlier, guys. Okay, which tells us after they dumped it, guys, right? So what happened after they kept on dumping it? By the way, Bitcoin dumped from the top to the bottom 21%. Ethereum from the top to the bottom. Okay, Ethereum basically died. I don't think XRP will do this. 40% for ETH. HBAR dumped. We're just trying to figure out how much XRP will dump here. HBAR dumped 27%, so 20% seems to be the norm, right? For Litecoin dumped 16%. Interesting. For Solana dumped. Yeah, Solana just died, guys. But let's just take this dump. Solana dumped about 11%, but if we take the full dump, about 28%. Okay, so 30% for Solana. So the range here seems to be 20+%. A 20% dump from where it launched, guys. Let's say right there at $2.51 and change. A 20% dump takes XRP to what do you know? Literally at $2, just below it. Interesting, huh? So we just cracked the code, guys, that XRP will most likely head to $2. Okay, and I'm going to probably save this video if it does come true. We're going to look back at it because every other asset or crypto that launched an ETF, it pumped in the beginning, short amount, and XRP pumped as well, by the way. XRP pumped 8-9%, right? Same as Bitcoin. Bitcoin pumped 8-9% here. Oh, no, not from there, but let's see. Bitcoin pumped 10%, XRP pumped about 9%, and then it dumped, guys, right? So XRP, it looks like did pump here, but it wasn't too crazy, and now it's looking for the dump moment. Okay, that's the game plan, and I think after when we do truly bottom out, look what Bitcoin did. Right, it just skyrocketed. For Ethereum, look what Ethereum did. It still went up a bunch. Okay, but I guess it's where we're at right now, right? 3,200 about where they launched their ETFs. HBAR, they just launched it, and every other asset they just launched just recently. But for Bitcoin, they dumped it first, and everything they dumped it first. Then for Bitcoin, for everything they dumped it first. But for Bitcoin is the only track record we have. Basically, they pumped it after, right? For Ethereum, I guess they dumped it, but then they pumped it a bit later. So there's a game plan, guys. That seems to be the ultimate path here, just like this, right? 20% dump for XRP from here, takes us to 2, then fly off, is my opinion. Okay. So let us see what appears next from CoinDesk. And what's fascinating about this dump is that the reason why they do it, I think, is because to buy it cheap, right? To trick a lot of people. They're like, oh, the ETFs didn't pump it, that's bearish, how's that possible? They're gonna sell, the insiders are buying, the elites are buying, and then they just reverse it back higher because there are more ETFs to be launched in the coming weeks, by the way. So this comes from Novogratz, the person who hated XRP. Is talking about XRP.
How do you turn something from being a token into money? It's a really, really complicated and difficult. So far, we've had a few that have done it. XRP has done it, and that surprised everybody, right? Because
it didn't surprise me. Well, it surprised all the people who don't have an open mind, right? Who aren't really opening their eyes to the fact that the world is changing. Come on, guys. This is why you must be open-minded. Thank you. Please like today's video as well.
Did it surprise you?
It did. And listen, we're a big owner of XRP, the company, but the token, because, I had all the same reasons everyone else. It was less decentralized. It was...
That's less decentralized. What? Bitcoin? This is hilarious. I want to laugh. I just did, but still. Bitcoin is literally the most centralized network out there. The people who hold the large blocks, right, or the biggest miners out there, guys, of these pools, right, it's all centralized 100%. And it goes back to the same person, probably the same entities.
Not a true blockchain. You can all the criticisms at XRP. It missed something important. They built a fierce community of people that believed in their narrative and turned it into money. And for them, it's money. How do you turn?
And we still believe it, right? Because it's going to come true. It's already coming true. So do not be fooled here, guys. The exact game plan is XRP to 2, then they're going to make it fly. So my thoughts on the XRPC highlighted by TradingView, right? BlackRock missed this one. The battle is now won. Do you guys understand what's upcoming? I think BlackRock may launch in the coming weeks. I'm not even kidding, right? They're going to go because in order for the pump to have a narrative, there needs to be something big. And all these other ETFs entities are going live with their ETF soon for XRP, but BlackRock will be the trigger. Aladdin, remember, Canary Capital Spot XRP ETF hit over $25 million in trading volume within 30 minutes of launch, marking one of the strongest debuts in the crypto ETF market. By the way, BlackRock just seen what XRP did today, if you guys didn't realize. Right, it had its sights on XRP to see, is it going to be normal, medium, or out of the park? Guess what it was? It hit every expectations, literally out the planet. Right, because people's expectations were like, oh, it's not going to do much. It's just going to be a good amount, right? No, it beat the highest Solana trading volume, guys, this year. Okay, so they added that it's only a matter of time. It may only be a matter of time before BlackRock launches its own XRP fund, signaling growing institutional interest. Exactly. So the game plan is quite clear. They're going to be coming out soon, but I think they're going to be buying cheap prices. Okay, come down one more time. Everyone's going to sell because they're like, the ETFs didn't do anything. We actually called it for this as well. And then they're going to make it fly off, right? I wish, though, it had a bigger move. It seems like that was the only move it had. Okay, 8-9%. So that means liquidity's formed. 1, 2. Look at all that liquidity, right? It just keeps going on for till literally new all-time highs. They're going to just take it like that, probably. We'll see. Not financial advice. Do not sell. And actually buy if you can. But it's so face, see ya.